Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op.
Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show, and I'm Ian, and I got Jared with me.
Hello.
It's a old school episode with the founders.
Yeah, I like these old school episodes.
Please do us a favor and find us on Facebook and Instagram now that they're back up, and Twitter at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word, no hyphen. How's it going, Jared?
Hey, it's good, but I had no idea that those sites were down, so
All
I haven't
day.
been doing the socials today. Oh,
That was
darn.
the drummer. All
yeah,
day people were.
I missed out,
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess.
Well, I mainly frequent Twitter, so like Twitter was just ablaze with all these Facebook jokes.
Yeah, I did jump on Twitter earlier, but that's about it. Yeah, I spend most of my time on Twitter.
It updates more frequently and it has less garbage.
Yes,
Quote,
much
unquote,
less
garbage.
Yeah. I like it.
So today we're getting together. We're doing a little video game chit chat. Actually, we have
Yeah.
actually pointed conversations today. We're gonna review a couple games. Do you want to review your game first?
Sure. I mean, we can talk about Kena Bridge of Spirits
Yes.
first.
Yeah.
I mean, I also beat another game, so
Well, right, but I wanted to,
of course. Yeah, but Kena Bridge of Spirits, when it was unveiled originally, I was very excited for it because the art style really pulled me in, and that held its own through the whole game. I really appreciated that visual style. It's pulled together really well. Everything just looks like it fits in that world. Nothing seemed out of place. All the character designs were really well done. Um, I want to play more of it. I do. I mean, it sounds like they're going to add more content,
That's cool.
so we'll see how that goes. It seems like more combat scenarios, which I think in the end that was my biggest difficulty with it because it was very, I don't know, it seemed unbalanced when you got to the bosses. I think
Like
that's
harder
been meant.
or
Yeah. I mean, I ended up just throwing it on lower difficulty because the bosses were just like I like pounded on one for quite a long time, and I just couldn't get past this certain form of his, and just stopped having fun at that point. You know, that's not really why I was interested in that game. I didn't go into it believing there was like a big challenge. I didn't really go into it appreciating the difficulty ramp up.
Right.
The boss fights were still fun on easier difficulties. It could have like putting it. I had it on normal and then I put it on like the easiest because it doesn't have it in between. But it seemed like there wasn't much room in between because on that easiest mode, the bosses sometimes it just seemed like they were standing there waiting for you to hit them.
right.
So, I mean, that needs a little bit of a balance. Maybe someday they'll add a different difficulty level just to have it balanced out a little better. So if that's the case, I might jump in again, just to go through the game because I really did enjoy that. Yeah.
Well, I know it's like kind of a smallish team, and
Yeah,
it's their
very small
first
team.
and it's their first game, and a lot of people are saying like it's almost a AAA level, but maybe some
Yeah.
of those shortcomings are the fact of it being, this smaller team, so they can't, you know, balance it out as well in the lower difficulty. Some of the I heard some of the things that people were criticizing that like it kind of seems like kind of a not boring, but kind of like the game's pretty basic at the beginning until it unlocks stuff. Like you kind of progress further into the game? Does it get deeper?
Yeah, yeah, of course, because there's not many games that can hold their own if all you can do is swing a stick around. So, of course, if that's all you start a player out with, it can be kind of obnoxious at the start. You know, you can't really do much with your stick. You know, so once you get you know, some power ups, I don't really need to go into the power ups. It's every one of them is additive to the game, and they all serve their purpose and are actually really fun to use. So I don't have any critical mass against any of the skills that you unlock, other than that all of them would have been nice earlier on, instead of like, oh, I'm going to the last area now, I finally have all the skills. But most games do that, so you really can't, you know, shoot anything at them for that. I mean, there's not a ton of different skills, but there's enough to make the game a lot of fun to play.
So is the game like I don't know much about it aside from like what it looks like. I know it looks really pretty, but is it like a open world, or is it pretty focused levels, or?
It's pretty focused. I mean, it's pretty easy to find where you need to go, because like there's three main masks that you need to go and find. You know, these masks are for the deceased, and some of the deceased have not let go of their anger or fear, you know, that kind of stuff. So you have to help them through their path into the spirit world, and I really like that aspect of it. But there is an easy way to detect. You know, there's no like waypoints and stuff like that, but you can pop the mask on your face real quick and look around, and you can see exactly where to go. I mean, there you can tell also it does have a decent map, but you don't really need it because it's just. I mean, everything seems like a pretty straight path, but there is a little bit of exploration as you go further. You know, it's like you get a new skill, so you can go back to things you remember seeing. You know, it's pretty tropey kind of game when it comes to that. So if you jump into it, you'd be, you know, easy to find where you're going because you're just used to that type of thing since forever.
So is it
But
mostly combat focused, or is it like platforming and puzzle solving and that kind of stuff too?
yeah, there is a lot of platforming. Like one of the first things, you know, a lot of people say the grenade thing is the best part because it's fun in battle, but it actually adds like this level of platform challenge to it because it makes certain structures kind of float up into the sky into platforms. And you have to shoot some of them with a bow to flip them around the right angles, and that adds to a lot of fun. I enjoyed a lot of those puzzles.
Cool. How long did it take
Yeah,
you to
so
kind of play through?
yeah, right around 10
10
hours
hours.
or so. Yeah, so not bad. It's about what I thought. I like when I saw the game, I'm like, "Oh, hey, that game looks awesome." I didn't know the price, and then it came out, it's only like 40
40
bucks. I'm
bucks,
like,
yeah.
"How is it only 40 bucks?" Yeah, even after playing, I'm like, "How did they just sell that for $40? Well, they could have done better than that." Like, I'm surprised. I love it. I do. It changes my video game budget a little bit, but
Right.
yeah, the game's wonderful, and I think it was worth more than 40. But that's kind of what like the older Ratchet and Clank games were doing too. That's like,
Right.
oh, we'll bring this one out at 30, $40, you know. So it's, I don't know, maybe adventure games, platformers aren't top tier enough for the pricing tiers to go higher. I don't know. Metroid Dread's coming out this week at $60. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's Nintendo though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can buy better games than some of the past Metroids for, you know, 20.
I think Breath of the Wild is still $60.
$60, yeah, $60 game. Yeah, Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story, $60.
That's yeah.
Luigi's Mansion, $60.
Yeah, that's funny. Um
Yeah, but this game is worth every penny. Like, of course, if it goes on a sale, yeah, swipe it. It's great.
yeah, it's been getting pretty favorable reviews, and everyone seems to be pretty positive on it. Um
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of action platformers, I mean that's what it is. And the battles, yes, they can get challenging, but they're doable, especially if you put it on the lower difficulty. Just kind of dip your toes in and see how hard you want to hit the enemies, and If it gets too annoying, just back the difficulty off. I mean, it's fine. You can change it mid-game, so you don't have to start over or anything like that. I'm glad at least it's modern enough to have that kind of thing. Like back in the day, remember, you had to pick a difficulty and stick with it, unless you wanted to restart the game.
Do they take advantage of the DualSense in any special way, or just kind of normal?
It's getting harder to detect because I'm getting used to it.
Right.
Because yeah, it had the DualSense stuff and it felt great. Like, the bow, whatever. Everybody's probably used to a bow by now,
Right.
and pulling the tension against the hands. And if one of the little spirit guys, the rot, were in the area, the controller would kind of do a heartbeat throb kind of thing, so you could sense that. But um, this one is also on PS4.
Right.
So I feel that the only thing that you'd really miss out on controller wise would be the tension on the trigger for the bow.
Okay.
And I feel that I push the triggers a little harder than the average person. So like resistance doesn't affect me as much as, like a normal person without, goofy fingers.
Yeah,
I
you
don't know.
find that you don't really need to push as hard as you think you need to, but
Yeah.
from years of playing video games, it's just like muscle memory. You just pull.
Well, yeah, because back when those R buttons came out, it was either on or off. It wasn't analog. It was, or it wasn't digital. You push it and it hits the button. Now it's like, so I think on PS3 it might have had like 2 tiers. I don't know if it was detectable, but now it's like it's ever so sensitive. You kind of touch it and it does
Right,
something.
right.
And yeah, so that's still taking me a while to get used to, because I'm still all about the on and off. Just hit the button.
So aside from the kind of the balance of the difficulty, was there anything else you feel like the game was lacking and could improve upon?
Yeah, I mean the dialogue seems fine. They did a good job recording it, but the biggest problem is it's voice acted, but when you're out in the world and it's not a cinematic, you have to hit X to continue.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like you're sitting there, like you finish watching a cinematic and then you come out and he continues talking, or a character talks, and it just sits there and you're like, oh, I have to hit X. And it's just a little like, oh crap. And like, why do I have to do this? They just said what I'm reading.
Right.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
kind of
that
old sensibilities that they don't get rid of. I don't know. It's weird.
yeah, well, like Genshin Impact has that too. Like most conversations are audio and you have to keep hitting X, but it has a button at the bottom where you can hit square and turn on auto.
It makes you
Autoplay.
wonder if that's a PS4 thing where it was like a lower, like it was load. It's a loading, it's loading stuff. It doesn't really need it in the newer consoles, but it's just they don't mess with it. It's just
Maybe
like, kind of
that's
one
a
of those,
possibility.
just one of those things that like we're not gonna take that out.
But I feel that like the dialogue, you can just zoom through it if you want. Like I
Right.
bet you could still do that on a PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just, they didn't think, oh yeah, there's no reason for people to hit X on this dialogue that's very short, and you just have to keep hitting
Especially
X.
if they say it. It always seems
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. Really, I mean, yeah, the voice acting's good enough. You can understand what they're saying, so it's not like a challenge. I don't know, just a little nitpick.
Right. Are you gonna platinum it?
No,
No.
absolutely not,
Oh, 'cause
because
you have
I'm
to
not going to play it on
normal?
the
Oh.
master difficulty, which I unlocked after I beat it.
Maybe they'll do
So,
some
no.
balancing to it. Patch
Yeah,
it. Maybe they'll fix
yeah,
it.
maybe someday. I mean, I really like the game, and it'd be fun to jump back in. Maybe I'll beat my head against some of those bosses again on master difficulty.
Well,
I
is it
don't
a
know, maybe.
difficulty thing, or is it like the combat isn't good enough?
So the biggest problem I was having is that like the main boss and enemies were all too aggressive. They all charged you at the same time, so you didn't really have time to back off and react to anything, because I mean, you had to do very specific things. Like the little enemies are only there to recharge your special meter, because you have to be some form of aggressive and attack them to regain that bar, so you can use your special attacks on the boss. But they spawn ever too quickly, and it just becomes you running in circles, and the boss is chasing you, and you barely have any time. So it just becomes a little frantic. Even with 3 really weak enemies, it's really a big pain in the ass.
At least you don't have weapon degradation.
Yeah, I know that would be nuts.
Uh,
Yeah, but
cool.
that was why I brought the difficulty down. It's just like just back off a little bit, and the enemies didn't all charge you at once. Some of them just kind of stood there and waited their turn, and that is on the edge of being a proper difficulty. But when the boss just kind of stands there like, when are you gonna hit me? You know, because I'm standing there waiting to parry or something like that, and the boss is just standing there looking at me. You know, it needs a little fine tuning. It
But a
does,
good,
it,
good solid game.
yes, I really enjoyed it
Would
very
you
much.
would you like to see a sequel from this developer, or do you want to see where they go? You want to see their next game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in for their next game. This one doesn't really need a sequel because it was really, I mean, she was on her journey to that one place, and it didn't really flesh out any of the characters beyond that. I would like to get to know Kana a little better because it didn't really go into who she was, and I don't know, she seemed like she might have something to hide, or she definitely has something to hide. I mean, so it would be nice.
Okay, cool.
I'd be down for it. I mean, if they might do other media, maybe not a game. They could do other media, maybe like a movie or something like that to really pound the idea out. I don't know. I mean, that they seem like a very capable studio, and I'm interested to see what they do with the property.
Cool. Well, there you go. Go check it out, guys. It's cheap, $40.
Yeah, totally worth it. $40.
Yeah. So I'm not talking about a $40 game, but I am talking about a $50 game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
let's
talk
go
about,
double A. Let's do it.
Hot Wheels Unleashed. This game was never on my radar.
No.
I was never gonna play this game. And then Twitter was ablaze of all these people. I think GameSpot gave it like a 9 out of 10 or some crazy shit like that, and I was like, what? And then all these other people playing it on Twitter were like, this game's really good. And so I was watching videos and all that stuff and reading reviews, and I was like, man, I could use a really great arcade racer right now.
Yeah,
And
I didn't read any reviews, but I watched a little bit on Twitch, and yeah.
And I was just like kind of following it, and I was just, it's $50. It is cheaper than the normal game, but still, it was like, it's a Hot Wheels game. Do I want to spend $50 on a Hot Wheels game? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, can it be that good? So I drank a few beers that Friday night, and I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, you were teetering over the edge. Like, I think you posted something in Discord like 15 minutes before you bought it. I'm like, I'm on the edge. And then 15 minutes later, I bought it.
And I read it somewhere in the reviews, and they were accurate. It is a lot like Burnout / Trackmania Turbo, in the sense
awesome.
it's you race around these tracks. You gain boost by drifting and stuff, and then the tracks are crazy like Trackmania, and then they're Hot Wheel tracks. So like the visual detail to like Hot Wheels and Hot Wheels tracks and all of that stuff is pretty ridiculous, and it handles like a great arcade racer. I just like instantly it was like easy to play for me. I just knew how to play it. It wasn't like you had a weird kind of drifty thing or something, it felt weird or floaty or something. It was instantly for me like, oh, I can play this, no problem. And I don't know, man, it's just a lot of fun. I've just been pounding through that. It has like a really kind of simple setup. You're in this little town and you go to different races, and I mean on the surface it's pretty basic. You have time trials and races, and you just kind of do that. You collect cars, and different cars have different kind of boost abilities and different stats for speed, all that kind of normal stuff. Some are kind of top heavy. That's interesting. So like some of the outlandish cars, like there's this one car called Buns of Steel, and it's like a hamburger delivery truck. And you drive it, and it has really good braking power. But like when you drift, and if you drift too crazy, because it's top heavy, it'll flip over. Like the car, it's kind of detail like that. It kind of, so like a lot of your your best racing cars are the kind of low to the ground, like in Indy Formula One. But like they all have a Hot Wheels slant. Like they'll be like dragsters with like dragon heads, or they have normal cars, and then they have like these crazy fantasy cars, and they all race together. But yeah, so they all have kind of different attributes when it comes to even that kind of stuff. There's a cool kind of thing. I think this is in Trackmania, but I can't really remember. I know you can turn when you jump off a ramp in Trackmania. You can turn the car and stuff. In the Hot Wheels game, when you jump, you can kind of pitch it up, and it'll kind of float up, like it kind of flies a little bit. So like if you're gonna miss a jump, like if you're pointing down, it'll take you down. But if you're gonna jump straight and you look like you're gonna miss it, you can kind of angle it up, and it'll kind of fly up a little bit. So it's kind of this, and then
it made me think of Wipeout when I saw that.
Kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a more arcadey level.
And then all your boosting, you can boost in the air, so you can jet across, and I don't know, it's pretty fun. I don't know, it's the tracks are all, so you were basically only in like 4 or 5 different zones, like basement, garage. There's like a skyscraper and a skate park, but then in those areas, all the tracks are always different for the most part. They always do different things. So like just because you're in those 4 areas, the tracks always kind of move differently around that area, and they'll get harder. And then the really cool part, the best part of the game, and there's not enough of it, is the boss battle tracks. Because then these tracks add a level of difficulty and platforming to the game that you're not really battling a car or anything. You're never battling cars, really. I mean, you battle the car AI. It only has like 2 difficulties, easy and normal. So it's not very difficult in that sense. But the track itself has these like kind of different themed bosses. Like there'll be like the last one was like this haunted ghost thing. Like it was a haunted track. And when you ran through a ghost, it would like shoot slime. Like you get slimed on the car. And it would drive around.
Ectoplasm.
It was kind of original. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's kind of original. I've never experienced that in a racing car game, really, where like your windshield gets covered in like shit and you can't see through it.
You haven't played Mario Kart in decades.
Well, I don't play Mario Kart because Mario Kart sucks.
Yeah, the inkling, well, the squid thing squirts ink on your
so I never dealt
windshield.
with that.
Yeah.
There was a review I read that like this is just a kart racing game, and this is definitely not a kart racing game. It definitely doesn't feel like a kart racing game to me. There's no power ups, There's no killing. You can knock other cars off the track and stuff, and but it's not a battling car game in that sense. It's just a classic kind of arcade racer in a Hot Wheels license, and I really enjoyed it. I'm just really. I think I completed the story last night, but no, it's funny. I've played like a few games lately where I complete them, but no credits roll. So I'm like,
oh, interesting.
Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla was the same way.
Huh.
No credits rolled. So I was like, did I beat this? So I had to finish. I finished everything in that game, and then it was like, no, I beat this game. That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. So that's why you wouldn't do split screen with me last night, because you just wanted to blitz through the story?
No, that's not exactly why. Bryn came home at 9, and we were having a conversation. I can still race and have a conversation with my wife.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It doesn't take up. It's just fun. It's just like it's the most fun game I've played this year, and I've really enjoyed it. And I'm trying to complete everything now, but
I'm glad you stepped out of your normal zone and bought a game. It's not
weird.
Normally something you'd buy, and you've been having a ton of fun.
It's a race game, so I mean it's kind of normal. It's just a little different. Oh, the car collecting is kind of cool too. I mean, there's no like actual like. I mean, there's season pass stuff if you want to do that, but that I don't know that stuff's out yet. But there's no like. You don't pay money to get currency to unlock. There's like these little there's like boxes in the game that you get in-game currency, and then you unlock them, and then it gives you a car. What is this car? But you don't pay actual money for that. It's just you just have to grind the game for that. So there's like 2 different tiers. There's like the blind box, and then there's like actual cars you can buy. And so like that's the whole other thing. You just like collect the cars. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then the other on top of that. if you don't like the way a car looks, you can totally give it its own paint job. So like some of the cars are ugly, but then you repaint them to make them cool. That's nice. And then there's this crazy track editor, which I haven't built the track yet, so I need to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if they had that because
Oh yeah,
now I'm just kind of thinking Mod Nation Racers without the weapons.
Mod
That
Nation
game
Racers
is
without
really
the load
good.
without the load
Yeah.
screens.
Yeah, man.
But
If only that game had come back.
and I did play one online game, one multiplayer game the day I got it, and instead of losing miserably, because I had never played that particular track before, I got third place my first try.
Nice,
So I was like
yeah.
actually surprised.
Cool.
Anyway,
It was all AI, Ian. It was all
it
AI.
wasn't all AI, but you know, I was really looking for something to play. I probably could have waited till it was like $30, but it's really cool. I think it's a really good game. It's a lot of fun, and I think that's what a lot of arcade racing games forget. Is just to be fun sometimes. So this definitely checks that box.
Good.
All right, what else you want to talk about? What else you beat something else? What else did you beat?
I beat the VR exclusive Psychonauts in the Rhombus of Ruin
You did
today.
that today.
Yeah, I just beat it today. Yeah. I liked it, and I'd
This-
recommend anybody that has access to VR and their storefront has that game. I would get it.
Furthering your quest on the Psychonauts journey, huh?
Yeah, I just looked to see if Psychonauts 2 was on sale, and it is not.
What is this? What is this? Is the game different than the first one, or
The Psychonauts 2 or the
no, the
VR,
VR
one?
version? Like, what is this? It's like,
Well,
what is
the
that?
VR one's not a platformer. I mean, you end up being like locked down into a chair and having to go into other things' minds to kind of teleport around and look at different perspectives and figure out puzzles that way and how to help each one of your fellow Psychonauts.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's interesting puzzles and fun writing. That's one thing they champion is their writing over there at Double Fine.
Is that very long? Is it a pretty short game?
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 3-4 hours, something like that. I
Right.
think is what I spent on it. Yeah,
Fun.
and I think I bought it on sale for like $5, something like that. Pretty cheap all the time on PlayStation Network.
Right.
And you can only play it in VR. They don't have a non-VR version.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Cool. I also played a sequel. I played Shadow Warrior 2. I beat that the other week, and basically I beat this game because I bought the bundle of 1 and 2 pretty cheap. I think it was like $9.99 for both games, and I bought them both, and I was gonna play through them, and I had beaten the first one, and then I didn't come back to the sequel yet, and then Shadow Warrior 3 is about to come out, and it looks like hella fun. So it's like, I'm going to beat the second one. The second one's only like 8 hours. Only takes 8 hours to beat. And it's quite different than the first one. The first one's pretty kind of Doom-ish, where you just kind of go through a map and kill. This one is like open world and mission objectives.
Huh.
So like you kind of go back to the same little open worlds and do all these different kind of objectives. And
Borderlands style.
Borderlands style for sure. And you can even play co-op. So you can play like Borderlands, first person, run around, kill things. And
Okay.
but the gunplay and really the swordplay is what I fell in love with. Like the first game had a sword and you shot stuff and it was fine. But the swordplay and the different types of swords you get was like, man, this is so much fun first person sword fighting, killing things that I really enjoyed, which I thought was like, I can't think of a first-person game where I really was into the melee combat, and
Yeah,
this one-
Skyrim's combat's not super
I don't
super
know.
fun.
I don't think there's really, but this one I really dug, and the way you could like kind of dash and fly around really quickly, like they don't really limit you from like sliding, jumping, dashing a lot. You can just keep kind of doing that. Like if you just want to run through a level, you can do that. Like they don't really get you from doing that. So no, I was like we're just kind of playing it to get through it, and then I kind of was playing it because I enjoyed it, which I really which was cool. And
Yeah, but you didn't anticipate that.
I didn't really. I mean, I anticipated it being a fine game, like it was gonna be. I mean, I like the Shadow Warriors kind of potty humor, and it's kind of funny, and it's a pretty decent shooter. And I figured, okay, the second one's going to be just more of that, but they really elevated that. So now I'm actually really excited to see how 3 stacks up, how much they then take it higher than 2, like, so it was just kind of a pleasant surprise. So I like totally recommend, like, on PSN, if you have a PlayStation, play on Xbox, everything. That they usually do the Shadow 1 and 2 game bundle for like really cheap, like $9.99 and stuff. So like I seriously recommend it. They're like fun games, especially that second one. That second one's I really enjoyed it. So
another video game series where the second one's really, really, really good
yeah,
after the first one.
The first one is just kind of like, because I don't know if you ever played the original Shadow Warrior,
No.
the Duke big PC. So like it's just like, who wants, he's just like, who wants some Wang and all that kind of like stupid potty humor stuff, and like that was a very kind of a Duke Nukem clone. And then so the newer version of 1 was just kind of like, you just kind of like, it's not an updated version of that, but it just kind of, that's what it is. It's like a remake. And you're just kind of like, yeah, okay, I get it. Haha, this is fun. But to see it evolve a bit, even though it's, I got it for cheap too. So it's not like, I would not have paid $60 for that game, But
yeah, I gotcha.
It's a solid, fun game, no bugs or anything, and I really like the upgrading path for the weapons. It does a really cool thing for that, which I really enjoyed. So, I thought there were a lot of things going on that I enjoyed in that game. So, Shadow Warrior 2, check it out.
Awesome. So I started. I've been fighting through The Last of Us 2 for quite a while now, and now this month I'm actually sitting down to go through the story. Yeah. I mean, I've been enjoying the game when I play it. It's just I had to wait really, really late to play it, and it's not one of those games I want to be really tired playing,
right?
Because you really need to focus in on it.
It just dropped on PlayStation Now this month, so I could play it.
Yeah, you're not going to though. Yeah, you'll just. Well, I mean, you might dive in, so your hate can be valid, I guess. But currently, it is not valid.
Validate me.
No, but I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm getting pretty far, and it's like it measures it by days in Seattle. I'm in like the 3rd day. Okay. I don't know how many days there are, but yeah, I don't know. Just any game that has a place that I've been where they've recreated it and overgrown it, and parts have fallen down. There's rivers crushing through it, and the freeways are falling down and stuff like that. It's just really cool to see Seattle in that form. Like, not many companies can do it in such a fashion that it's believable.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, the art direction in that game was really good, and I can't wait to keep going.
It's, I don't really have anything like overly hate. I don't have really any hate for that game. I don't care for it. That's all. I don't enjoy it. That's all.
Yeah. It doesn't have spiders.
It doesn't have spiders. Maybe it needs spiders and I'll play it. There's spiders in Shadow Warrior 2.
Oh man, were you okay?
Oh yeah, they're fine. It's fine. They're not flying at my face, so.
Yeah, I got the sweats.
No, I'm good. What else I want to talk about? So I'm in the early access or whatever they're calling it for Amazon Luna. It's basically Amazon Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on the thing to get access, see if they would give me access, and then clearly no one's using it because I got instant access. So I got 7 days for free, and then it kind of automatically logs you in for a month, but you can cancel it. So I canceled it right away. So my subscription will end October 9th. So they won't. But it's only the basic. It's funny. It has 3 tiers. And I guess they're going to have more tiers later. It's really kind of an a la carte thing. So they have their basic, which is $5.99 a month, and you get access to a library of certain games that they've picked. And it's like there's like 30, 40 games in there right now. So it's a pretty good selection of games. Then there's tier 2, which is family. So it's only so from that library selection, it's only the family games, and then that's only $2.99 a month. And then there's the Ubisoft channel, which is obviously been dictated by Ubisoft how much. So you get access to all the new games and stuff, and that's $17.99 a month. But you get access to all their games and all the new stuff, so like Far Cry coming out and stuff.
Yeah,
So
that'd be a great deal. I mean, if you were somebody that actually got to sit down and play like all the time and had time
right,
for a lot of these Assassin's Creed games, you could blitz through a couple of them in a month, you know,
right.
and you're what $18 deep.
So and what you can do is then you get the 5.99 and the 17.99, and then you can just change your subscription tier every month. Like you subscribe to
Yeah,
Ubisoft for a month and then you drop it. So it's kind of a cool setup.
yeah.
Which I thought was cool. It does have their own controller. I don't have it. I used an Xbox 360 controller. There's a bunch of controllers you can use it.
Oh, I didn't know they had their own controller.
Yeah, the other it's like $60 on Amazon. You can get it.
Huh.
But you can use it on PC and Mac and iPhone and Fire tablets and Fire sticks and all kinds of stuff. So everything's pretty much at kind of early access. It has more shit running. It's running on more shit than Stadia was. So that's kind of a leg up. It runs pretty well. I did have a couple glitches playing. I tried playing Wonderful 101, and it played for a while, and then it kind of had some glitches, and so I had to bail out of that game.
Yeah.
And then I played Grid, the original Grid, which man, I was like just for a while, and I was like, man, I
Oh,
forgot how cool that racing car game was. I was just in a racing car mindset, I guess, this weekend. But I played that. That played pretty flawlessly. I didn't have any issues with that. Um, and then I played something else. I can't remember right now, but it's not really important. The important thing is like I get it works pretty fine. It's probably gonna be better too, so it'll probably be up there with Stadia and stuff. The problem is the $5.99 a month is a great price, but that library they have is like every game I've gotten free from PSN or Epic and it's just
yeah.
like I don't need this library. So I don't there's no point in me spending $5.99 when I can play this anywhere. And the kind of silly stupid thing about this is that Amazon has Amazon Studios and they just launched their new MMO. That
Yeah.
game should be a choice.
Oh, yeah. Right on it.
Just right.
Yeah.
That should just be. I don't need any other games. I'll $5.99 a month, stream this game, and I will try playing this game, because
Huh.
then I would stick with it. But like, I just don't need this library. Like, it's
Yeah, 'cause
cool. But
I don't have a PC that could run New World, and I'd like to try it, and that would be like the
yeah,
easy in.
yeah, right. You have good internet. You could probably run it. So it's like
Yeah.
that seems like a no brainer. But like as a gamer, we have these games. Like I don't need. I don't know. There's just a bunch of games that we already have. So it's just like that's kind of like so. Once I got in and I looked at the library, I was like, I'm just gonna cancel this right now. I'm not gonna because I was like, I'll resubscribe for $5.99. But I'm looking through the library. It's like I don't really need I don't need to play any of these really.
Yeah.
So and I have most of these. So it's just like meh. So I've logged in a couple times and played a couple different games just to test it. But I just feel like there's a missed opportunity there. But maybe it's not for gamers, and maybe it's for casual people that are Amazon fans. I don't know.
I think someday they'll get their time. Just right now, it doesn't seem to be that time.
Mhm.
I have a feeling they have a decent amount of subscribers, but I don't know if it's what they wanted.
It's
Um,
also interesting that it's way different than Stadia. Stadia was based off kind of like sure you get a free game library, but they want you to buy games and add to your library.
yeah.
That doesn't look like that's what this is going to be at all. They're just going to keep giving tiers of like I don't know. I don't know if you're going to ever actually buy games. So
Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, like today I got an email from Stadia. Like I could buy one game from some type of list probably and get like a free month of premium. I'm like, I don't know, because you have to buy a full price game, a $60 game.
right, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
And I believe these services are just going to get better and better. They need I don't they need to offer something that gets me to want to stick with it, not just like Joe normal doesn't play a lot of video games guy, cuz like, come on man, we've been collecting games forever, and like if I just
Yeah, but
keep adding games in the Epic Game Store, like
yeah,
I have like what 200 300 games already, and
yeah.
like there's nothing you can offer me in your free game library that I probably don't already have. So
Yeah, I know. I just stopped adding ones that I'm not interested in. But Amazon Prime Gaming also has a
yeah,
bunch of games.
that
Like
too.
this month is a ton of Wallace and Gromit games, and Star Wars Squadrons is free this month.
Oh yeah, well see we got that free with PS Plus though.
Yeah, I know. So I have it in two places now. Well,
Uh,
three because I have the disc too.
that what I tried playing that. I didn't get into it. I couldn't get into it.
it's really good in VR.
Maybe that would help because like I feel like it's so slow. Like I feel like I'm trying to go and it's just like you're just kind of I don't know. I played it for like a couple hours and I'm like I'm out. I don't want to play this.
I still need to jump back into it. That might be one of the next ones I jump back into. But I think you get to fly a bunch of different types of vehicles, so like they might get faster. But in VR, I think it's just the right speed without making it too hard on the system. I wonder if that held the speed back that you're talking about without VR,
Maybe.
because you can play online with people in and out of VR.
I don't know. Anyway, Amazon Luna,
Who knows?
it's super cool. I'm for this streaming future. I just don't feel like either of I mean, PlayStation Now actually offers me the most choices that I'm interested in playing, and I'm always popping in there and kind of playing a different game, trying a different game for an hour or two that I've never always wanted to play but haven't. And so that one, but I've subscribed for a year. I'm not gonna renew it. I don't think. It's just one of those
Yeah.
things. But like Stadia and Luna, they seem cool, but I don't know. Give me something I want, and I'll probably try to subscribe at some point, but not right now.
Yeah, so someday I mean, if they started bringing apps out to like past gen systems and stuff like that, like hey, play PS Now on our PS4, you can play PS5 games, that kind of stuff. Subscribe at this upper tier, I don't know. There's a lot of things they could do. I mean,
The
you can play it on
technology's there,
PC
though.
already.
The
Yeah.
technology is there. It's working. Especially if you have. I mean, if you have good internet, then it's like it's almost a no-brainer. It's like I kind of wish I could just move that direction a little bit, but
Yeah, and Microsoft's cloud gaming's kicking off, so I
right.
mean, it seems like that's going really well too. So, I mean, everybody's going to have it, and I think there's a lot of people that'll fall into it, but uh, just I don't know. I
Like
guess I'm
where's that tier that gets me the newest games but doesn't make me pay full price but makes me pay a subscription fee? I mean, it's kind of like Game Pass, but I don't necessarily want to download the game. I will, but
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
The
We'll
future.
see. Yeah, the future is still in front of us, so I'm gonna sit on it.
Anything?
I still have a few games that I have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
play
go.
on Stadia because I bought them, but I've talked about them and haven't beat them yet. We haven't played Youngblood yet
Oh yeah.
on Stadia.
Did you
Yeah,
move?
but
Did you progress on that at all?
no, I haven't played any Stadia.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm waiting for you in the little base because you have to play through a part, I think, on the base. Get to the base.
Really?
So, I mean, you don't
Okay.
have to. It's the starting point. It kind of like
That's when you can be online.
I
So
think
yeah,
I'm not
have
sure.
to do
You
that.
might be able to do the beginning from the very beginning. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I guess I should at least start it up.
it's a fun game. Oh yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else you beat or you want to mention?
No.
All right. The last thing I will say is that I kind of reconfigured video-wise. You can't really see it. I reconfigured my retro consoles, and then I got into the deep dark hole of Dreamcast bootlegging again, and so I've been downloading ROMs and then burning them to disk so I can play them in my Dreamcast. And I would like to share that I successfully burnt my first one today and played it, and it is
Nice.
working. So perhaps I will be playing more Dreamcast games, or perhaps even streaming them to YouTube. We do not know, but it is a chance that I will be doing that.
Sweet.
But yeah, I forgot how it's even easier now. Back in the day when I used to do it, it was so much more difficult. But now it's way easier.
All those tools are pretty fine tuned at this point. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. They were fine tuned at a certain period of time. So like it's like all these are like circa 2014, 2013. So any websites, they still have ROMs available and they refresh that, but all like that kind of how-to stuff is kind of that time period. So you're kind of hoping that certain things are still available to download to make it work.
Yeah, of course.
It's funny, but yeah, no, it's awesome. So, I don't know. So that's a little nerd thing. So go get yourself a $40 Dreamcast with some controllers, and then don't buy a game because they're gonna charge you $60 for like Marvel vs. Capcom, and just go online and burn it yourself. Though finding CDRs, you might have to buy like 100 for $10 off Amazon, which is not cool.
Jeez, I have a stack of them in one of my drawers, and I haven't used them in like 15 years.
Yeah, I was like at work looking for all the CDRs that we don't use anymore. It's like, because there's no way. It's funny because you go to Amazon and it's like, you can buy 20 for $16. Or you can buy like 50 for 10. And it's like, I don't really want 50 CDRs. But I don't want to spend $16 for 20. Anyway.
Yeah, you just need a CD wallet for all your Dreamcast games.
So
Bring them back.
I think that's all the video game stuff I've got. We should probably prep for the future podcast we're going to be recording this evening. Do you have any co-optionals, Jared?
Watch
anything,
well,
eat anything, drink anything?
Yeah. And Netflix, I just watched the first episode of Squid Game. It's super cool.
Everyone's been really recommending that to me.
Everybody. And I've been watching. I'm still working through Star Wars Visions.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I want to watch that too. Because they're all like varying. Really they're like 10 minutes, 12 minutes. They're all like different lengths.
Yeah, up to like 22 minutes, I think, is the longest one. And I've really enjoyed each one of them because it doesn't stick to the like same characters and stuff like that. It's like just original Star Wars stories, and they're all done by different Japanese animators, and it's really, really well done.
Yeah, I've been meaning to catch up on that. I haven't watched any of them. Cool. Yeah. I'm going to recommend the Anthony Bourdain documentary Roadrunner. If you were a fan of Anthony Bourdain and his shows like Kitchen Confidential or A Cook's Tour or A Parts Unknown, or his book Kitchen Confidential, this is kind of, he obviously committed suicide, and this documentary kind of talks about his life and, kind of maybe perhaps what led him down that path. It's if you're a huge fan of his, I totally recommend it. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, check it out. I think right now it's only available in early access. You have to like purchase it. Like, what is that rental Premier Access thing?
Yeah.
Unless you have a friend that
already has it.
Somehow already has it.
Yeah.
Who has acquired it. But I totally recommend the documentary. Is great. All right, let's see. Let's get out of here. I never have this ready for some reason. Why not?
Because we've never done it before.
Yeah, we never do it. Okay. I want to thank you all for listening and remind you that you can leave feedback on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word.
No hyphen.
Remember to please subscribe, share, and maybe leave us an iTunes review. You can also, go straight to anchor.fm/thecouchcoopshow. You can leave us a voice message there, and if you leave us a voice message, we'll play it on the show. I want to thank Jared for joining me here on the couch.
Anytime.
For Couch Co-op, I'm Ian. What do we say? Oh,
please be excellent to each other. This is where I play a riff.
I was gonna say, drink responsibly.
Yeah.
And let me play the open.
Couch Co-op.